you can get there in 25 minutes and you don't have to freak out about it and go, oh, I got on the interstate and now I'm totally screwed and we'll be stuck in here for the next 30 years. Can you see what it's like when I drive up to Northern Virginia? Hey guys, this is Erin. If this is your first time to our channel and you want to learn everything there is to know about living in Richmond, Virginia, hit that like button, click subscribe, and click that little bell so you're notified every time we release a new video. Hey, I'm Erin Melton and welcome to Living in Richmond, Virginia. So you're ready to pack up and move to Richmond, Virginia. Here are 7 things you need to know before becoming local. The first thing is you are going to need to order an E-ZPass. Now, if you're from anywhere on the East Coast, you're probably familiar with what I'm talking about already. And sometimes they'll call it something a little different in each state. For instance, I know they have a Peach Pass down in Georgia. And I believe they have, what is it, the Sun Pass or something like that down in Florida. However, the E-ZPass is going to be something you will really appreciate for convenience here in the Richmond area. Now, I want to clarify, you're like, what's an E-ZPass? It has to do with toll roads. And don't freak out. You can get plenty of places in the Richmond, Virginia area, either going north of the river, south of the river, wherever you're going without even utilizing these tolls. I'm just telling you, it is going to be something that will make your life a whole lot easier for convenience when you're trying to get to the airport, when you're trying to cut from one side of the Richmond area to the other, and you just happen to be popping on one of the toll roads. It just is going to make your life a lot simpler. It's also helpful, like I said, to have an E-ZPass when you are driving north to south. So anytime you're going to the Outer Banks, and if you become a local in Richmond, that is going to be a beach that, beach area that you're going to be frequently, regularly, and that's in North Carolina, only about, 3-4 hours away from you. It's also going to be really important if you are driving up north through the Nova area. It is a great thing to have when you're navigating through DC. At different times during rush hour traffic, you're going to love it. And obviously, if you have friends and family that are further up north beyond DC, you're going to really appreciate it as well. Everyone who's driving anywhere through Pennsylvania is also going to regularly utilize that E-ZPass. So just make sure you have one. You're really going to appreciate it. All right, we all know the funny little thing about, getting pulled over, not that that's funny. And what is the thing that a cop's going to ask you? License and registration. Well, that is definitely a thing that you're going to want to make sure you've got all cleared up when you become local or right after you close on a home out here. Where you go to get your license is called DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles. And I can say, because I am a Virginia girl, that things have truly progressed here in Virginia, and particularly in the Richmond area. I am super excited how many services they provide online now. And also there are a lot of DMV Nows, which are kind of like satellite places that you can get things done super fast. And here's what I'm talking about. You just need to get used to, you're going to be needing to re-register your car every single year, or at the most, you can do registrations for 2 years. Any of your license plates that you see here in the Richmond area, any of your Virginia plates, you're always going to notice that there is a month on the little sticker that's going to be on one side of your plate on the left-hand side. And you also are going to have a year that is on the opposite side, on the right side. So those are regularly going to be changing. So whether you do a 1-year registration or you do 2-year registration, does not matter. You have just got to make sure that you keep on top of it. Please do not be stupid enough to think that you will not get pulled over and you will not get ticketed if you forget to update your registration, because we've all been there. The cool thing is you've never got to rip those stickers off. You just literally, can cover it right up with the next year that you're going to be putting on there as well. Your license, you can also take care of that there. I know that it's gotten really nice in the area that if your license has remained current and not expired, that a lot of times you can just carry over your picture. We all know that we appreciate that to a certain degree, that you don't have to get another one. I know I have, though my picture is so outdated now. I know if anyone looks at it, it's like, ma'am, I don't think you're 35 anymore. You're right, I'm not. So that's just really, really easy sort of thing. And like I said, you will have little stickers on your plates. That's the other thing that a lot of people that are not local would not know, and this is a Virginia thing, and definitely in the Richmond, Virginia areas, you're going to have a plate on the front and the back. Now, a lot of people go, oh, hey, do you have to pay more? I don't really know what most people are paying for state tax and what have you. It's fairly reasonable. For instance, if you go and register your car here in with DMV in Virginia, when you get here into Richmond and close in your house and what have you, is it going to be an astronomical amount of money that you're spending? You're not. It really is very, very reasonable. But definitely just know you're going to have plates on your front and your back. Easier for the cops to track you down. Here's another thing in regards to the plates that you need to get used to moving here to the Richmond area is people tease us here for our vanity plates. Get used to it. Don't feel like you have to get something clever. There are random numbers that can be assigned that you can get out there, and I'm pretty sure you don't even have to go to DMV. You get your plates at first off. You might be able to order them first off, but double check that with all your local DMV reps and what have you. They've just made it a lot easier to do things. But the vanity plates, if you're creative, if you're clever, there are so many different Virginia plates that you can get to, shout out your favorite school, your favorite cause or organization or what have you. You can definitely personalize those. You only get a certain number of numbers and spacings and what have you. People get very clever, so just get used to it, but don't feel silly if you don't. So we're gonna have a lot of them. Here's the other thing is, anything that you have here in Virginia, if you're coming here and you have an RV, please do not be silly enough to think that you do not have to register that with DMV. You are 100% wrong. You make sure you register it, because that's going to pick you up for the county or city that you're living in. The taxes, the personal property taxes, you're going to pay on that. Same with you. You have a boat, a jet ski, a trailer, obviously your cars, all those different things. It is not astronomical, and each little area is going to be a little bit different. Naturally, my personal property taxes may be a little bit higher because of business use for our cars, what have you, but really, in all actuality, in comparison to a lot of other states and other areas, we are extremely reasonable. But just don't be dumb enough to think, I'm just going to bring this boat here, I'm going to bring this RV or jet ski or motorcycle that I barely use like that, and I don't need to register anywhere. I can just put it in a garage and take it every once in a while. That is not the case. Be sure that you do that. I'm just trying to make your Memorial Day weekends and your holiday weekends that you're taking things out not miserable. I don't want you to get a ticket. All right. Annual vehicle inspections, make sure, kind of along the lines, the same thing as your registration, do not let those expire. And there's a difference. You will see that everyone's going to have a little sticker up on their windshield here, and it will also have a date and a year on it. Again, do not make sure that those don't expire. And all you've got to do is go to really any regular mechanic around here. I believe the annual inspections now for the Richmond area, I believe they're at $20 each, if I'm not mistaken. So not unreasonable at all. And really what they're just testing is they're testing your tires, they're testing to make sure that you can get your windows up and close, that your doors close, and your brakes, all those different things. So if you have a newer vehicle, you do not have to fret about these annual inspections. They're going to be pretty easy breezy. If you have an older car that has some miles on it and you've got some wear and tear on your car, fear not. Yes, you will have to do the annual inspection every year, but the most important thing is if it does fail, you are given a certain amount of time that you can kind of save up a little bit money and have those taken care of. I would say the biggest thing that gets failed on a regular basis would be brakes. So if your brake pads are bad and you can't shave them down anymore, such a bad recommendation there. But if you do actually need to change the brake pads, that tires, they're definitely gonna be looking at that, and your headlights. If your headlights are clouded, definitely make sure that those are gonna get failed at some point. So do the little treatment to them to shine them up and what have you. So just a word of the wise. The nice thing is though, if you are coming from a large metropolitan area, so for instance, if you're coming from the Northern Virginia area, so still Virginia, guess what? Yay, you don't have to do admission tests anymore. So you don't have just a, your state inspection. You're not going to have an additional admissions test. So that should be some exciting thing for people coming from big cities that you have to do that. You do not have to do that in Richmond. Come enjoy our clean, lovely air. You're going to love it. All right. Another thing you need to be prepared for is Sundays in the Richmond area. Things are going to open later and they're going to close earlier. So if you're not used to that, if you've ever lived overseas and you're used to things being closed on Monday, or you're used to things being completely closed on Sunday, this might not be a shock for you. But if you're coming from very large cities where you don't necessarily see any changes, and particularly if you have lived in places that are not in the South, simply be prepared for that. Now, it's not a crazy amount. Typically, like at the mall, they'll, if normally it opens at 9 o'clock or something like that, it might be 10 or 11 before it opens up. This is the thing that I know that always catches me and it drives me nuts, is that the pharmacies open later and they close sooner. And inevitably, it will always seem like I'm coming in from appointments or going out from appointments. And I'm like, oh, hey, I need to go grab that prescription. And, it never fails. They're going to be closed. Here's the other thing that you will want to be prepared for, because things open late and close early. And a lot of it has to just do with where we are in the country. There's going to be, we don't have traffic really here in Richmond, but please be prepared that if you need a little extra time for things, the big churches around here, they will have crossing guards, or they'll have people, they'll have either crossing guards that are hired, or it will be the police department from that particular county or jurisdiction that will be out there directing traffic. So just be prepared for that. Mentioned about the mall, I've mentioned about the pharmacies. In general, it's just, if you're wanting to do some things on Sundays, make sure that you check the hours before you make a trip specifically out there, because I just don't want you to be disappointed that things will be a lot of times closing at 6, which seems very archaic, or not opening up until 10 or 11. Here's another thing that you're going to really enjoy if you become local and you're coming from a large area such as Seattle, obviously anywhere in the LA area, anywhere from Atlanta, Chicago, New York, Charlotte. I mean, I'm naming some big areas that a lot of people come here from. Phoenix, Arizona. You don't need to check the traffic report. Your commute time is going to be short and predictable. Yes, do we get a little bit more traffic-y in certain areas during our rush hour traffic, but truth be told, it really is kind of laughable for people that live north of the James or south of the James, and if they have to commute to the other side of the river, or if they have to commute into the city, even during higher traffic or commute times, either in the morning or in the afternoon or what have you, it really is very laughable. You can easily live well down in Moseley, and if you need to commute to the West End or even up to the city or what have you, if you allow yourself 25 minutes to get there, you can get there in 25 minutes and you don't have to freak out about it and go, oh, I got on the interstate and now I'm totally screwed and we'll be stuck in here for the next 30 years. Can you see what it's like when I drive up to Northern Virginia? So it's really nice that you can live where you want. You don't have to worry about it. Here's another thing that I find surprising, but I know everyone who comes to the Richmond area as they're visiting things inevitably decide, hell yeah, we're moving here for sure, this is lovely. If you and a significant other, or you and a friend want to go out and enjoy dinner, it is not going to break the bank. You're not going to have to worry about your tax return or, oh my God, is this going to cost us $90 to do? It's not. And even to going to some of the more expensive or exclusive restaurants, you're not going to pay an arm and a leg. Yes, we do have sales tax, and it varies per city or county that you're in, but they are extremely reasonable. Even with that sales tax, and we have any kind of convenience tax or an eating out tax or what have you. For instance, I know we have friends that come down from New Jersey that were visiting, and they said they just couldn't get over stopping and getting a meal and getting out of there for under, $90. And we're like, are you kidding me? Like, are you going to somewhere very exclusive? And they're like, no, just a very simple restaurant, maybe 2 drinks and a meal for each of us or something like that. It's going to be something crazy. I mean, you easily can go out and be at $50 or less to enjoy that. So I think that's really nice. Just very reasonable prices, and you have all the different things. You have all sorts of different, this isn't just chain restaurants. This is local eateries of all different food genres and what have you, very affordable. It's nice. All right, here's the other thing that I want to let you know, and I think that this is important to put this in perspective. As a whole, Richmonders, we are happier from like May to November. Okay, I'm just going to be completely honest with you. And really, when it comes down to it, if you're coming from places that have very harsh winters, you'll be like, well, duh, Everyone's happier during that time, or why till November? We probably are getting your snow. We're big babies, okay? And the only reason why I say actually at May, typically I'd say most people, as soon as the trees start to bud at all, as soon as the pollen's coming out, so I could really push that up really into more like March or April. I'm just trying to think of the people with seasonal allergies, because we do have a lot of pollen. I mean, a lot of pollen. So I'm just gonna say May to November, everyone is just a lot happier, more friendly. People are very friendly around here anyways, but you're just gonna notice everyone is smiling more. Everyone's even more thoughtful about waving people into traffic, waving at people if they let you in, sort of thing. It's just because our spring through fall, it's simply lovely. We have really moderate temperatures. Does it get warm here in the winter? I mean, in the summer, excuse me. It does get warm, but in comparison to anyone who is coming from South Florida or anyone that is coming from anywhere south, it is a breath of fresh air. And I can say this with certain confidence because I've helped a lot of people move up from those areas, and they're like, my God, this is so lovely. Our springs are beautiful. Our summers are nice and warm, but not too crazy. And our falls are absolutely spectacular and beautiful. With that said, you need to be prepared that we do have lots of flora and fauna. I mentioned the spring, you're gonna have a lot of pollen. You know, all the bugs, all the bees, all the birds are gonna come back out. It's very temperate. If you have pets, definitely be ready to get in touch with a local vet, connect with someone that you trust, and get your kitties and your doggies on year-round tick and heartworm and flea preventatives. Because we have all the beautiful flora and fauna, all the things, and because we're very temperate during the winter, all the things live. So you just have to keep control of that and keep all your pets healthy and what have you. That's another thing too, is yes, we are happier. One reason why we're happier is all of our leaves come out on all of our trees, on all of our flowers. Everything is blooming. The birds, the bees, the flowers and the trees, all those different things. If you're not a nature or animal or all of that sort of person, if you prefer a very dry climate and more cacti and not a whole lot of green and stuff going around, this might not be the place for you, but it is absolutely lovely. Every kind of bird that you can think of, obviously not tropical, but we just have birds all the time. That is a big thing, is you're gonna come out here, and half of why we're happier during that time is you literally walk out even at dawn or even well into the evening as things are getting darker later and later. The birds, the bugs, all the little things that are just very quintessential Richmond and quintessential Virginia, the lightning bugs, some people call them fireflies. If you've never seen a squirrel before, you get ready. We have lots of squirrels, lots of birds, lots of bees, lots of squirrels. Most of them are gray. We do have one particular little section over on the west end in the Tuckahoe area that there's obviously a certain strain of albino squirrels, and there's whole little colonies of families. Lots of raccoons. You're gonna regularly see deer, lots of chipmunks for birds, lots of hawks. We have a good number of eagles, lots of owls. For the other things, fox. Yes, will you see a bear occasionally around here? Yes. Have there been reports of other bigger wild kitties? Yes, but it's very uncommon sort of thing. A lot of people ask about coyotes. We have seen and heard an uptick in coyotes, but nothing in comparison to our friends that are moving from out west. It's going to be laughable in comparison. So there you have it, 7 things when you are ready to go, hey, I love this place, it looks amazing, I'm packing my bags, we're moving over there. I just want you to be ready for it. We can't wait to introduce you to our beautiful River City and to help you see if this is a great place to call home. Take care and see you next time. Bye. If you have any questions or we've missed some information that you really want to know, just drop a comment below and we'll either answer you, or who knows, we might just make a whole video just for you.